Gonna wait for some more people to jump on. I'm also gonna push you guys away from me a little bit. Boom. If you're on, say hello. Let me turn on my chat real quick. There we go. Brr, it is cold in here. Just gonna wait. Hi, say hello, hello. Hi guys, how are you tonight? I'm freezing. It is so cold, so cold. I don't have my blanket. Hi, Allie. Normally I have my blanket in here. So I have a really funny story to tell you guys today about what happened at Target. I made a video on my Facebook, but I also am going to tell you guys on the live in case you're not on Facebook because it was so embarrassing what happened. I'm going to turn down this light too. I feel like it's up in my face. Okay, that's better. So tonight we bought this carpet shampooer. Hi, Dark Master. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Watermelon. Okay, so we bought this carpet shampooer probably within the last month. And when we got the puppies, we decided to get the carpet shampooer, to get a new one because ours was outdated. And so Bissell released, it's called a Proheat 2. And no, I don't get a kickback for telling you the product name. But anyway, so they released this Proheat Pet Pro Shampooer. And on the water jug, it like has these different line options, so you fill it different amounts for different things, but I never really knew what that meant, so I always just fill it to the max. So anyway, my husband, he is shampooing. The puppy had an accident, so he's in the house and he's shampooing the puppy's accident up. And he starts getting really frustrated, so I come in the room, I'm like, what's up? He said, the shampooer's broken, it's not spraying. I said, what do you mean it's not spraying? He goes, look. So then he's shampooing and he's like, normally it's really saturated and it sprays, but it's just kind of trickling out. And so the carpet's getting wet from the shampoo, but it's not spraying the spot. So he said, it's not working. I've tried everything. I took it apart, I cleaned it all up, put it back together. It's not spraying. I said, okay. I said, well, it's within 30 days, so we can take it back to Target, no big deal. So we decide to take it back to Target, okay? So this is where the embarrassing part starts. Don't judge me, but this is pretty funny. Okay, so we get to Target with the shampooer. The guy is trying to look up the shampooer. I have my receipt. He's like, okay, and for whatever reason, it wasn't scanning into the system. They were having some trouble returning the shampooer, and they didn't have one in stock, so they were gonna have to order it from online and ship it to us, and it was just gonna be this big ordeal, and they were just feeling really overwhelmed because they weren't really sure how to do the transaction properly, and so it was just a mess. So while I'm dealing with customer service to exchange the shampooer, my husband goes back and he's looking at the displays and other shampooer options because they said it would be easier if we picked a different shampooer that they had in stock. And so he was looking at different options, considering if we were going to exchange the shampooer. So he's back there doing that in Target. I'm talking to them. They're still trying to figure this out. For the life of them, they cannot figure out how to return this shampooer or exchange it. I'm like, okay. So Rick comes back. He shows back up. He goes, excuse me. And the guy was like, yeah. And he's like, so I think I might have figured something out. When I was back there looking at the display, I noticed that there's 3 little buttons on the side that you change them. And I'm wondering if maybe somehow our switch got turned off. And so maybe that's why it's not spraying. So the guy's like, okay. And so Rick was like, do you mind if I turn the switch on and then try and shampoo the carpet here in Target, just like a piece of it to see if it works? So the guy was like, well, yeah, because we can't figure out how to return or exchange this carpet shampooer. So yeah, I mean, that's going to save us all some time and hassle and confusion. So he's like, yeah, let's just do it. I was like, oh my gosh. So we're going to shampoo the carpet, right, in Target, okay? So I was like, okay, well, let's do this where people aren't at and like in a like conspicuous area so that like we're not leaving a wet spot on the carpet in the middle of Target. So we're over at customer service and he walks over and we move this cart that's there, right? And so Rick turns on this loud ass shampooer in the middle of Target and he's shampooing away. He's like, yeah, this is working great. This is exactly what it's supposed to be doing. The shampooer is fine. Just shampooing away, screaming over the shampooer to talk to the guy. I said, Rick, turn off the shampooer before you talk. I said, stop, turn off the shampooer and then speak. Oh my gosh. And then the guy was like, so Rick turns off the shampooer. He's like, I could hear just fine. I said, it wasn't about you. You're screaming in the middle of Target, shampooing their freaking carpet. And then the guy in the customer service thing, he's like, oh, I could hear him over the shampooer. And I'm like, so could I, unfortunately. So I leave, right? I'm like, okay, here's the keys. I give Rick the keys. I was like, take the fucking shampooer out to the car. I'm done. I'm like, get away from me, you and this freaking shampooer. So I'm done. So I give him the keys. He goes out to the car. He puts the shampooer in it. I'm on live in the middle of Target on Facebook, dying. I'm like, you guys, I'm so freaking embarrassed. I don't know what to do, so I'm hiding. So I go down this aisle where I find no people, and I take off my mask, and I'm telling my story on live, and I'm like, I am hiding. I'm not gonna let him find me. I'm so embarrassed right now. And people probably are looking at my husband like, this is a guy that just shampooed Target's carpets. Like, who is he? So I'm hiding in this aisle, and then all of a sudden he shows up. He's like, hey, babe. And I'm like, oh my God, he found me. He found me. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go now. I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed. Oh my God, it was too much. I could not. I was like, seriously, like, can't make that up. Nope. So yeah, so we took our not broken shampooer to Target to return it. Spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to return it because we couldn't, because it wasn't working in their system, only to find out it was never broken. Oh my gosh, I can't. So then when he comes home, he's like, yeah, well, the kids need to use it different. And then he's like coming up with this new game plan on how to shampoo the carpets with it now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we're going to keep doing what we were doing because it was working just fine. And then when we were in Target, he was like, I'm sorry, guys. It must have been the baby. It must have been our toddler. He's 2. He touches everything. And I was like, it probably was, but it was still really embarrassing. So yeah, so everybody coming in the front door, right off to the side of where the front door is. That's where customer service is. He's shampooing the carpets. People are walking in and out, and he's screaming over them, and I'm just like, I can't. Tell me when it's over. It was bad. But anyway, that was my funny story for the day. You guys all want to know about a vlog. Oh, you can't make my life up. Oh, so embarrassing. I'm literally like ready to cry because it was so embarrassing. It was really funny. But it's okay. It's my life. It's my life, and it's what happened. And then the last 2 days, I've been baking a lot. I've baked like 25 different kinds of cookies. It's what I do whenever I feel like I just need to escape for a couple days. I just go into hibernation mode and I bake. So I've been baking cookies, and yeah, and that's about it here. I did speak to Robbie. He does have COVID. I think you guys know that now. He has COVID, and he's asymptomatic, so he's doing really well with it. I did speak to him, and I did record our phone call to share a piece of it, but I didn't have a chance to edit it, so I'm not going to do that yet. And then we spoke about him. The next time he calls, he wants to say thank you to you guys directly through a recording of some form. So I told him to pray about it and really think about what he wants to say and what he wants people to hear. So, but he asked if he could say thank you to everybody, and I said, yeah, like I can record our phone conversations to give updates. I don't want to share a whole conversation just because, you know, that's my son and I having a conversation, but definitely pieces of it that he wants to have shared, I would love to share with you guys. So that's a new development. He has like cold symptoms with the COVID, and he just sounded a little bit congested, but nothing major. And I guess there's a lot of kids there that have COVID. And they're all asymptomatic, thank God. So God is good on that one. But yeah, they're all doing really, really well. So he's doing well. And yeah, he also said he hasn't, so it's been months since he's had any thoughts or urges towards children. And we do think that that's, my husband just closed all his rings for the day. I get updates on this. I never close my rings anymore. I feel so lazy. But anyway, so he talked about, he only seems to have thoughts and urges towards the peers or the people that he's around. So again, we still continue to talk about him not being around children in the future and what his future might look like. Now that he's made it through puberty, his urges are less, so we think they were definitely heightened by puberty in general. But they have changed, so he's having healthier thoughts and urges, and I think that's really, really great too. Christine, did you hear the Target story? That's the important thing. It's too much. Would we potentially be able to ask questions to Robbie via you? A sort of Q&A, his point of view of types of centers he's entered into, etc. I can definitely discuss that with him and see if he's open to it. Oh my gosh, Christine, you got to go back. So I do a short version of it on my YouTube, but basically my husband convinced me that our shampoo was broken, so we took it to Target to exchange it. And then when we were in Target, he had an epiphany and realized, oh no, I just accidentally flicked this button on the side so it wasn't spraying because I turned off the sprayer basically. And so he asked if he could test it in the middle of Target, go over and shampoo a spot of the carpet to see if his theory was right, which it was. So then he goes and takes our working shampooer back out to the car after he shampooed a spot in Target right off the front door and embarrassed the crap out of me. But yeah, you can rewind and watch the beginning of this live because I tell the whole story, but oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. But anyway, yeah, so I would definitely be willing to ask Robbie if he is open to a Q&A type session, if that's something he wants to do. I know we get limited phone time, so we don't get to talk a lot, so it's completely up to him. I'm fine with it. It's up to him though. If that's what he wants to use his phone time on, or if he wants to have a Q&A with you guys, then I'm completely open to it. Within reason, obviously. I'm not going to have him expose any of his personal details or location or any of those things, but within reason, yeah, I think that that could be something good. And if it makes him feel happy or healthy, then I think I would encourage it and support him. So whatever he wants to do, absolutely. So he gets a set amount of phone time, and he doesn't have to earn the phone time, but he can lose his phone time. But he only gets like 3 10-minute phone calls maximum a week, but generally I only hear from him like twice for 10 minutes. So our time together is so precious, and my husband even doesn't bother us too much on the phone. He's there for most of the phone calls if he's available, but sometimes we just want to have mom-son time, and my husband respects that, and he's more of a quiet and reserved person, so he doesn't fight me too much on who gets to have the phone time, but he always does get some of the time throughout the week, so that's always nice. But I really enjoy my phone time with him. It's so limited, and it goes so fast, and by the end, I'm just like, he's like, I have 1 minute left, and I'm like, meh. So yeah, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard because we don't get to talk as much as I'd like to. I'm not going to get upset though. It's okay. It's okay. Our relationship is just different than what it used to be. And I accept that. And I'm happy he's in a place where he's getting help and treatment. So, yeah. No, he can never come back home. He can't be around children. All of my other children are coping really, really well. They've chosen... sorry, I'm laughing at Christine's comment. Yes, Robbie's pretty introverted. He's a lot like my husband. He's not super social. He's a bit socially awkward. And, yeah, he can't ever live back home. And the siblings are fine with it. They honestly don't want a relationship with him at this time, based off of the information that they know and the things that he said or did while in the home. They've made their own choices, and I'm not going to force relationships between them. However, if they choose to have one moving forward or at any point, you know, that's up to them. But I'm not going to force it. Their therapists have encouraged me not to try and force them to want or to have a relationship. So we just kind of let them make that decision. And right now, they're not anywhere close to being ready for a relationship moving forward. Will I be able to take or give Robbie a Christmas present? So I'm actually planning on mailing him a Christmas present this year. I found this really good book, and him and I talked about it actually. We talked about, so I say a lot. I am so sorry. But anyway, we talked about how I'm not going to send him gifts that I find enabling. So I don't want to send him like fun things that make him think he's in summer camp, because that was something that really set him back in his first treatment. Is he felt like he was always getting rewarded for no reason. People donated like Columbia jackets and North Face jackets and hats, and he was getting stuff. He got MP3 players, like all this stuff for no reason, and it was just so weird, and it was really, really enabling him. And so we talked about how my gift giving towards him will have to reflect what I've promised, which is I'll never enable his behaviors or encourage his behaviors to be negative or harmful towards people, and I'll always encourage him to get better and to make good choices. And I'll always, when I'm giving or like gift giving, for me it's important that I also continue to be supportive in my choices. So I have researched some books that I really liked, and I found this one book, I forget what it's called, I have it saved on my phone. And so I talked to him about receiving a book from me, and he seemed very receptive, and right now he's been really into reading. And so I think it would be great to give him a few different book options. One of them talks about learning to live a life that's not enabled. And so because of some of his childhood trauma and the way certain people enabled him, we discussed, you know, he made a choice to not surround himself with enablers. And so I found this really cool book that talks about how to kind of live a life that's not enabled and how to accept and be okay with limitations and the word no. And so he seemed really interested in receiving this book, so I plan on sending it to him via Amazon Prime, so he should get it in like 2 days time. So that, and then I wanted to make him a few things and send him, so we took some updated pictures, me, him, and his dad, when we got to see him a few weeks ago. And so I'm gonna send him a picture too, and I don't think he's allowed it in a frame, but I'm still gonna give him like a 5x7 photo of the three of us. I thought that would be really cool. So I am gonna send that, and then I wanted to send him something little. I have to ask his therapist if I'm allowed to, but I wanted something like little that he could hold, just like maybe like a piece of cloth from like something that he recognizes. Like he had these blankets that were his from before, and I thought about like cutting up a piece of those blankets and just giving him like a piece of this blanket, because he knows that sometimes I've held that blanket, and there's one blanket of his that I took over, and now it's my blanket, and I snuggle with it, and it's a reminder of him, and I don't have to like make the other kids feel uncomfortable by having it because it's just a blanket, you know. But I thought about taking a piece of that blanket and cutting it off and sending it to him as a way of like him having something little to kind of hold on to be close to me the same way I'm close to him. And again, I'm not gonna cry, it's okay. But I just thought about doing something kind of thoughtful, or something like that. Or I thought about, I don't know, just different things. And since he's 16 now, he's going to be able to start learning to drive a car through a workshop eventually. So when he does that, I want to get him like his first keychain and stuff like that. I think about just the little things I can do. Sorry. I think they're allowed to do creative things, but I think they have limitations. So I don't know exactly what he's allowed to receive, because I know he has some of those coloring books, those adult coloring books, but I don't know if he's allowed to keep them in his room or have his own personal. I think he might have to share them and do them in group. So I'm limited on the things I'm allowed to send, but I know I'm allowed to send those couple little things because he can't harm or do anything in any weird way with those items. So before we went on Dr. Phil, Robbie was very much aware that we were going to go on Dr. Phil. And he was 100% on board, and he really wanted to get help at that time. He did not agree with the treatment program that was chosen for him. However, it was an option, and it was the best option we had at the time, because he would have been living amongst society independently. And so he knew he wasn't ready to do that, and he knew he was still at risk of hurting other people. And so if we had an option of getting him help before the state would take over or look at sentencing, if we had another option, because if he completed the treatment and did well, he might not have been sentenced to the degree that he was. But yeah, so he definitely wanted us to do it. And then now the channel, he's completely in support of it. He loves hearing all the positive things. So I try to write down some of the positive, or like I copy and paste the comments, and then I post them onto a spreadsheet each week, and then I send them to his therapist, or I can read them to him over the phone. And so he really finds it helpful and encouraging to hear people saying such loving and positive things towards him, and knowing that there's like a whole world of support and people wanting him to beat this. So it's actually encouraged him to do the treatment. And so ever since I started the channel and the episode aired, he's actually been putting in the work, and he's been progressing. And he actually says he thinks he's progressing because of all of the wonderful things he's heard and all of the love and support. And so you guys are amazing, and and you've changed his world, and you've made him feel loved and encouraged and empowered, and you guys have given him the best gift that he could receive in receiving that love. So thank you to everybody who's been loving and positive and encouraging towards him, because it's just meant a lot to us and him as well. You guys are amazing. As you know, sorry, I said I wasn't gonna cry, but you guys are definitely amazing. So thank you for constantly being loving and amazing. Thank you. I know you guys do, and that's why I keep coming back. And then on top of it, he also loves the fact that we've been able to sorry, I was catching up on the comments. Do you live in the same state as Robbie? So we're not going to answer about where we live and stuff. And of course, we're going to continue to blur his face. Sorry. It's okay. Your questions are not offending me in any way. I am hard to offend. And if I think something's negative, I generally don't absorb it. So you're fine. He has at least 4 months left in treatment until his next sentencing, and then he will likely go to like a step down treatment center of some form, and then he'll start to work towards what will happen after he turns 18, and he'll work in programs to be able to get his license and get a job and kind of figure out the career path moving forward. So he's going to continue to be in treatment no matter what. What the treatment looks like is much different. Like right now, he doesn't have the ability to like walk out into society. He is in a lockdown treatment facility, but he has some good freedom, and the ability to socialize with other people. He has free time. He's been working in the cafeteria. He's able to earn himself some income doing that. So that's been pretty cool for him and really encouraging. He really likes working in the cafeteria. However, I'm pretty sure that's where he caught the COVID, was from the staff member who had it there, but we're not 100% positive. But he's had to spend much time in quarantine over these last couple months because he's been around a lot of staff members who have caught COVID, so that's been hard for him. But yeah, so he's learning life skills, and we're making plans moving forward how he can keep himself and other people safe. He at this point does not want to hurt other people. His thoughts and feelings have changed in that way that he is more aware of how his actions would affect other people, and he doesn't want to put himself in those situations where he would lose control, and he doesn't want to hurt people at this point. Just because he has thoughts and urges that make him feel powerful if they were to occur doesn't mean he has to act on them, and we talk a lot about that. And he's in that place where he's like, I don't ever want to hurt anybody. And honestly, he has a lot of healthy thoughts and urges now that he could act on in the future. He's still a child, so I'm never going to encourage him to engage in sex at 16. But when he becomes an adult and he has thoughts and urges towards like-minded individuals and peers of his own age, those could be healthy relationships. So we'll kind of see what happens when it all plays out, but he's definitely moving forward and doing good. The patience and staff have been hit so hard. Yeah, it's definitely hard. We're not allowed to visit because of the COVID, so yeah, it's been hard. And yes, the treatment facility he's in, all of the people there have the same situation. They're all like-minded individuals, so they're all working on the exact same thing in treatment. So this is a treatment facility center that is geared towards children with exactly the same issues. So they're all working together. So his diagnosis is, we're not discussing, and since he's a minor, they don't typically diagnose minors permanently, so all of his diagnoses could kind of change. So we're not going to discuss his diagnosis at this time, but he's in therapy and he's working hard. He's been in treatment for 2.5 years now, but he was in the first treatment center for 15 months, then 4 months at the second treatment center, and then he's been in this treatment center for 6 or 7 months now. No, longer than that. What month is this? He's been in there for like 10 months, probably. I might have my timeline a little bit wrong. But anyway, okay, so that's my update for Robbie. If you guys got to hear the funny story from Target, It's pretty funny. It was extremely embarrassing. And now we can talk about anything. So that's all I have about Robbie, the update about Robbie. As for our family, we've been doing really well also. How many kids do you have? We have 6 total. So there's 5 in the house. And thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. That is really kind. Sometimes you guys are so loving, and I don't always know how to receive the comments, but I read each and every comment, the positive ones. The negative ones I tend to just move on from and not absorb. But every time you guys say such wonderful and kind things to me, I sincerely appreciate you guys, and I hope you know that. This has been difficult, but you guys have made it so much easier. And if I'm having a bad day or I just need to get something off my chest, I don't have to hold it in anymore, and I can tell you guys and talk to you guys about it. And so I'm just very grateful for you guys and all of the love and support. I can't say that enough. You have been so amazing. And my husband might not always jump on my lives or be in the room, but oftentimes he's watching from the other room, I've found out. But it also means a lot to him, because when you guys say something specifically towards him, I always snapshot it and then I'll send it to him. And I think it's really helped pull him out of his rut. And now he's in school and he'll be done with his schooling before June. And then he'll start a new career, and he's really moving forward and doing positive things. And so I really credit you guys too for helping my husband move forward and just helping our family. And my kids love that I have my channel. My kids find it great. They sit in here a lot of times. Many of you know that. And they'll just watch as I talk to you guys. And they actually think it's fun and awesome. And my one daughter, she's 10. She's hysterical. She likes to keep track of my follower count, which for me, I don't even know how many followers I have. The last time I checked, it was like 14,000 or something. But anyway, she likes to check that stuff. And she has a favorite YouTuber. And I don't know, somebody, Amelia something, I don't know. Anyway, she tells me all about this YouTuber, and she's like, Mom, you could be like her. She's like, she's so cool. And then she said, somebody said, when I addressed them directly on a video, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said something to me directly, like out of all these people, like you acknowledged me. And my daughter was like, if this person acknowledged me on YouTube, I'd be freaking out, telling all my friends. And I was like, you're so funny. I was like, I'm still just your mom. I'm still just me. And she's like, I know, but you're so cool. And she's like, I love it. And I'm like, you're so freaking cute. It's hysterical. Compliment or harassment? Is catcalling a compliment or harassment? I find catcalling very offensive. I am not somebody who... He has a child that needed help near the mother of the year. Oh, thank you. And yeah, my husband's pretty great. I'm glad he's coming out of his depression. I'm glad he's like making a breakthrough, and he's really moving forward, doing good things. I'm just trying to catch up on all the comments. But yeah, so as for your, Tia, your question, I find catcalling very offensive, and my body is not something that I want people to stare at or make noises towards or have an opinion about, because it's mine and I don't care. It's mine. And I find it offensive. And I don't like when men message me and tell me, oh, you're beautiful and I just want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, nope. I just instantly block them. I just find it extremely offensive. I am very like insecure when it comes to my looks as it is. And to have people acknowledge them, it's very hard. And you know, something I get often, which is really strange to me, I've been getting certain messages from people. Sorry, my nose is running. I got messages from this woman, and she was like, I notice every time you do a live, you're skinnier. I was like, girlfriend, I gained 10 pounds in the last month and a half. So there's that. But I hate when people talk about my body and stuff. I just think it's awful. Yeah, I definitely think that women should be treated as people, not cats. Is cereal a soup? No way. Definitely not. I had someone bark at me once. I lost my mind. I've had people whistle at me before, and I'm like, I just don't even acknowledge them. I just keep walking. And then I feel so uncomfortable. It just makes me feel so uncomfortable. You're so strong and such a wonderful mom. Thank you. So the kids and I have been doing some fun stuff though. The last few days we've baked over 25 types of cookies. They have been loving it, and then they were like, oh, I need a break. We're going to take the morning off. And I was like, okay, great, me too. And then I went and got some groceries. Tonight, I still have a couple cookies. My husband wants me to make pumpkin cookies. I really don't feel like that's a Christmas cookie, but I'm making pumpkin cookies. And yeah, so we've been having a lot of fun doing that. And then, oh, our tradition for Christmas, because you guys always ask about our holidays. So for Christmas, I hear someone in the other room. I didn't know if they needed something. Anyway, so for Christmas, we don't do like open all the gifts on Christmas morning. We do like competitions every day to earn a gift. So we did like thumb wrestling, arm wrestling. We did guess how many items are in a container. What else do we do? We've done all sorts of competitions. Oh, we did wall sits. Who could do a wall sit the longest? And oh, we did who could hold a plank the longest. I lost. My daughter outplanked me. She did. I am not a planker. But we do all sorts of things every day so they can earn gifts. And we just do little things all month long. And then when they're out of gifts, they're out of gifts. And it's fun. So he's going to actually do truck driving. So he loves driving. I'm also going to start doing some videos of me reacting to certain videos. So if you guys have certain videos you want me to react to, send it to me in a private message on Facebook or send me an email. But you guys want to know more about me and like who I am and what I'm into. So I watch a lot of videos actually in my spare time, but I don't have a specific person I follow. I'm not somebody who finds people and follow them because I think like people are outstanding or amazing. I just tend to watch a variety of things, whatever's on my mind that day. So something I was watching recently that I really like, which is so dorky, so get ready, is glass blowing. I have always wanted to take a glass blowing class. It is one of the things I want to do before I die. I'd like to do it within the next year. So if I can find me a class where I can learn how to blow glass, I'm gonna do it because I think that's bomb. But I watched some videos the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, what's he making? And it looked like a duck. And then next thing you knew, it was like this big, beautiful statue. And I was just like, whoa. But you know who I do like? There's one YouTuber I do like, and it's Brad Mondo. He cracks me up. So I am pretty good at doing hair. Like dyeing people's hair and stuff overall. Anyway, so I love watching his videos because he's so funny to me, and he's just a pretty positive person. He never like beats somebody up because they're ruining their hair. He's usually like, oh my gosh, you know what? I give her credit because she's amazing and she just did something bold. So yeah, so I think he's pretty funny. Outside of that, I don't really have anybody that I follow, but you know what I did notice? There was some things on YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook, there's these videos now on there, and there's these people who do like the same thing over and over, and I'm like, okay, this is just not even real. So now I don't even like their videos because I think they just do it for followers and views. And it's really annoying. But the first one was funny. But they do mean things too, like exposing people for their faults and stuff. I think that should be done privately. I used to do it with my mom. So I've made candles. I actually made candles one year for everybody for gifts. I made these really yummy, they were like cinnamon apple. Ugh, I still have one. I never wanted to burn it because it smelled so good. So you didn't miss a lot on the update. I would just go back and re-watch it. And there's a really funny story that I tell in the beginning. Yeah, Brad is always happy. I would love to do a co-op with Brad, so he could tell me how awful my hair is because it's broken. It breaks all the time. Look at these hairs. And Brad would be like, girl, you need to do something with that mom hair. And I'd be like, I know. Help me, Brad. I'd trust him. He'd help me out. But yeah, my hair never really like grows anymore. It always just breaks off. Never gets longer. But it's okay. It's mine. I own it. I just got thin spaghetti hair. My daughter has it too, so she has like my thin hair. She hates it too. It's funny. Sorry, I had to move that down because I need to slouch a little. I feel better. Okay, what else do you guys have questions about? Throw them at me. What kind of cartoons do you guys watch? So we watch watched this weird cartoon today. It was like a Jurassic Park cartoon version. I don't even know what it was called, but we did that. Cartoons. I don't really watch a lot of cartoons, but the baby, he watches Baby First. So I can sing pretty much every song on Baby First. And that's where he learned his numbers and his colors, and it really helped him. It's a great network. So we watch a lot of Baby First. Hey, child. Ooh, there's a couple childs. What kind of cartoons do we watch with the baby? Favorite cartoons?
SpongeBob.
I hate SpongeBob. Yes, I have heard of Coco Melon, and I thought about getting him the doctor kit from Coco Melon, but we haven't actually watched it. I live in a bubble. Ugh, where is these messages? Sorry. Any must-see Christmas movies in your family? No, we're not like super big into traditional Christmas movies, but you know we watched all day today in between baking? Yes, I love Harry Potter. Love. But we watched Twilight all day. I like Twilight. Maybe I'm a dork, but I really like me some Twilight. We don't have any must-see Christmas movies, but do you know what we do watch? Which is kind of funny. We always watch a Lifetime Christmas movie. Me and my daughter, my oldest daughter. She's 14, so we always watch a Christmas movie on Lifetime. And then usually the other two girls will watch too, but I can't really get my son to sit on it. I don't blame him, but we like a sappy Lifetime Christmas movie. You missed my comment, or I hope it didn't affect or upset you. I missed it. Burp, burp, burp. Squirmy and grubs are really good. Oh. No, I just don't, if I don't know what you're talking about, then I just kind of skip over it because I'm like, I don't want to sound dumb. Although it just naturally happens. I do like Home Alone. That is a good movie. We don't watch it generally for Christmas. We watch it throughout the year though, whenever it is on. Oh, I didn't see a question about Robbie. I love to watch makeup videos, so addicting. So I started doing makeup. I never wore makeup. I'm trying to see if I can find the question, Christine. I don't know if I seem offensive or not to ask. I don't want to seem mean, but if he isn't allowed to be around children, how does it work with him in the facility with children? They're all the same age and older. All the kids in the facility, depending on where they are, it's always like the same age and older. So you only have like, I think it's 15 and older in the facility. And then he just turned 16. So it's still just really same age peer. There's no younger children in the facility. It's all, there's different treatment facilities throughout the entire state, and they're all different age groups, and they're within like a 2 to 3 year span. So that answers your question. Okay, what else were we talking about? Have you watched Disney movies early 2000s? You know what movie I just watched that I really liked? And I hardly ever get time to watch TV or movies, but the new Mulan. I really liked the new Mulan. I love me some Mulan. She's my princess. Her and Pocahontas are the two princesses that I feel most represent me as a human being, especially Pocahontas because she's such a free spirit. And I've told you guys this a million times, but I used to sit in the bathtub as a kid and be like, just around the river bend. And I would like splash the water and I would just really go hard singing Pocahontas. I love Pocahontas. I felt like Pocahontas was my girl. And Mulan, I love Mulan. I don't think that women should be deprived of being able to be a warrior. You know, if you can handle it and you're a warrior, be a warrior. I used to work on cars for years. People probably don't think I could work on cars, but I used to change my own brakes. I've changed out pulleys. I've done serpentine belts. Yeah, I've done all sorts of things on my Jeep when I used to have it. I don't have a Jeep anymore, but when I had my Jeep, I used to work on it all the time. They're pretty easy to work on, actually. I don't like, however, if a rotor gets stuck on there and you have to beat it off, that could take me days. Yeah, because that takes some real strength. Or it also takes, like, you know how you go to the carnival and you hit the little thing and it shoots the thing up and hits the bell? If you know how to hit the rotor off properly, it's a lot easier, but calipers too, stock calipers. I learned tricks with like C-clamps and stuff, so yeah, I like working on cars. Waste of time. We were trying to prove a point that you could do it yourself. Huh? What? I don't know what I missed. That's awesome. It was good, except I don't like Mushu wasn't in it. Yeah, I just realized Mushu wasn't in it. So quick recap, I went to Target today to return a shampooer that wasn't even broken because my husband was determined it was broken. Then he realized he accidentally hit a switch and it was actually fine. And he shampooed the carpets in the middle of Target. Yeah, embarrassed the crap out of me, took it back out to the car and was like, sorry guys for wasting your time. We're not returning this. It works great. Ugh. And then I hid from him and he found me while I was doing a live on Facebook because I was so embarrassed. So that happened in the beginning. Then I talked about Robbie. He has COVID, but he's asymptomatic, so it's like a cold, barely. And I don't even know. I don't even know what he's trying to say. But anyway, so I didn't see a question from you, first of all. The only thing I saw from you is, that's a waste of time. So I don't know what you're trying to say, but if you asked a question, you could re-ask the question. If I didn't see it, I'd love for you to re-ask it and not be rude on my channel, because we don't do rude here. Nope. And if we get rude, we just get blocked. That's all I got. But anyway, so back to Robbie. So he has COVID. He's doing really well. Yeah, so he's doing really good. I have no idea what you're even talking about. Boom. Anyway, yeah, so that was like the basic recap. Just, you know, everybody's doing pretty good. We talked about how we've been baking cookies a lot. So Google does a pretty good job at moderating for me. They just delete and block people left and right. And I don't know who my Google moderators are, but they just exist. And sometimes I'll see stuff and it'll be like Google moderator deleted comment or blocked, whatever. Oh, you have COVID. I'm so sorry. That sounds horrible. We've been pretty lucky here and pretty healthy, knock on wood. I gotta knock on wood. But yeah, so we've been pretty healthy. I don't know if we already had it. There was a weird cold thing that we had back in like January that we'll never know if that was COVID, but we've been pretty lucky in this house so far. We try to stay pretty quarantined, so that's good too. I'm so happy to know Robbie was looking forward to getting better. I can imagine the inner pain he felt without the proper help. I'm so amazed by your resilience as a family and you in particular. Well, thank you for that, Mitzi. Thank you, Renee. I hope you guys all have a really awesome and amazing Christmas and New Year. For over the holiday, we're just gonna hang out as a family. Still fatigued all the time. I'm only 30 and healthy. That's awful. Hello, Amber. It was a little worse than pneumonia. I've never had pneumonia either. So I just really hope I don't get this. I hope I already had it and it was so minimal. I have a lot of autoimmune conditions and I've had a lot of health issues and I have a brain stent. I had brain surgery in 2016, so I'm really hoping I don't get it. And I'm also not going to get the vaccine because there's too many risks with somebody who has a brain stent. With the Bell's palsy and stuff, I would be at high risk for developing the complications from the shot. So I am not trying to do that until they come out with some sort of really safe revision. There has been some people who took it and have had some side effects, but overall it seems like the vaccine seems relatively safe for most people. But for me, myself, not doing it. Nope, not doing it. And then my one son who's 13, he has bad asthma and the baby gets bronchiolitis easily. So we just try really hard to avoid all contamination. Great grandma got it passed. Now my great uncle has it and developed double pneumonia and his wife has it. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I am so sorry to hear about your family. That is seriously awful. Yeah, so how about, my body is so goofy that they were doing allergy testing. So I obviously have allergies to many, many things. I've tested positive for allergies in my past. So as a kid, I've tested positive for mold, all these things, whatever. And even more recently. So I got the whole shot thing up my arm and there's the one, which is the test spot that automatically reacts to let you know that the test is going to be conclusive and that the test is working. So my body, being what it is, goofy and weird, my test spot never reacted. So my test was inconclusive and they couldn't actually test me for allergies. But with my lupus, in the evening, there's something in the air that bothers me and it makes my chest feel heavy and I get like a little bit like heavy chested and congested. It's I forget what the name of it is, like something with a P. But anyway, so it's so weird and I couldn't be tested for allergies and it was just so weird. But yeah, lupus sucks. It does. I have a lot of things. So I had pseudotumor cerebri, which is a brain condition, and it compressed my brain and I was only getting 30% oxygen to my brain. So they put a stent in 2016. I have intestinal metaplasia, which they separated those cells. So hopefully I don't develop cancer in my stomach. I have lupus, I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have fibromyalgia, I have a whole bunch of stupid things. Yeah, but it's okay because I am able to walk, I'm able to talk, I can take care of my kids. Yeah, I'm pretty blessed in most ways. I do have short-term memory problems with my complications from my pseudotumor, and I did go blind in my one eye, but I did get my vision back, so that was good. But I just have a lot of goofy, weird things going on in my body, which is okay. I have lupus. COVID kicked me hard. Oh no, you got it with lupus. See, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that with the lupus, my body just will not handle COVID. Yeah, fibromyalgia sucks sometimes. It mostly hurts on my pressure points. But so I've had rheumatoid arthritis since I was like 20 something. And it didn't bother me until I turned 33. And then my joints started hurting and I broke my one finger. Thanks, Tim. And ever since then, I feel like all my joints just started getting crooked and weird on my hands. And I feel like I'm getting terrible arthritis. But again, I can't complain because that's the least of my problems. There are so many people who are suffering from so many health complications, far worse than myself. So I think, you know, I'm very blessed and I'm not going to complain because I could have it so much worse. I am very blessed. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm alive and I am still raising my kids and living life. So there's so many people who can't do those things. They're so limited. And so I'm very blessed. I'm not complaining and I'm grateful for my life. I really am. We're just talking. I sent love and warmth to your family, your husband especially, because I know how hard of a process it's been for him. Yeah, so my husband's been coming out of his depression. He's been in school this month and he did his first final and he got like a 93%. I was pretty proud of him. And I told him I would have Googled the answers on the 2 questions because it's online. He said, no, that's cheating. I said, not really. It was an open book test. He's like, open book, not open internet. I said, whatever. I'd have Googled it, but whatever. But yeah, so he's actually doing really, really well and he'll be in a new career before the middle of 2021. So he only has a few months left. I did watch 13 Reasons Why for like a hot minute, but I don't really remember it very much. And I don't watch a lot of TV or, so I don't want to have a discussion about CBD. It's not up to me, his treatment. It's up to him and what he chooses for himself, because in our state, he is legally allowed to make his own treatment decisions. So I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for me? No way. I'm already so goofy, I couldn't handle it. It's just not for me. But thank you for the consideration. Thanks. Any other strange questions? What are you doing, child? Hey, does anybody want to bring me my coffee that I forgot? I would love you forever.
Enough to buy me a new phone charger.
Enough to buy you a new charger? Oh, these kids. They break everything. Didn't you say there was one for $4 the other day?
Yeah, Gabe's.
Yeah, why didn't you buy it? Do I drink decaf? No way. I couldn't survive raising 6 kids on decaf. Coffee is my... yes, Robbie's in treatment. He'll continue to be in treatment. And no, I hate whipped coffee. It's horrible. I don't know. It's in a Starbucks cup. Somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, so I drink caffeinated. I have a automatic espresso machine. It was the one thing I did nice for myself. And it was in the beginning of 2020. I bought a fully automatic espresso machine. Best investment I ever made. I have saved so much money. I was spending like $150 a month on Starbucks. It was crazy. Yeah. Do I like mochas? No. I like caramel macchiatos hot with whipped cream, only 1 pump of vanilla, and just a little bit of caramel on top. Are you going to allow your kids to get jobs at 16? Actually, in our state, they can get jobs at 14. Now, my one daughter, who is 14, she's not mature enough to handle a job, so no to her. My son and my daughter, who are 13, and they'll be turning 14 very shortly, yes, they could both get jobs at 14. I would be completely comfortable with that, and I think they're both capable of handling it. And as for the baby and the 10-year-old, they're not close enough to even decide. Oh, I drink like 6 coffees. It's bad. I shouldn't admit it. By the way, I don't get paid for this either. But if you go on your Circle app for Target, right now there's a 20% off coupon. If you go to Target, so just search Starbucks, and there's a 20% off coupon. So if you go to Starbucks in Target, you get 20% off your drinks all the way through December 28th. You're welcome. That's a good chunk of change, because my drinks are $5.57 and 20% off is like $1 something off. It's pretty magical. Just saying. But I've been making my own coffee and saving money. So I haven't been drinking a lot of Starbucks, but if I do, it's in Target. Hi, Tebby. I'm still mad at you, but I love you. Talking to my dog. What age is for kids to get cell phones or track phones? So we have one cell phone that my kids share, and they're able to contact. So my two, I was married before, and they contact their dad and they talk to him regularly. So I think that's great, but they don't have like free range on cell phones. I don't really think that's great. If they're 16, they should definitely have some form of a track phone in the car with a limited amount of minutes, so they're not using it to call people. But in the event that they're in an accident, absolutely, I think there should be a phone in the car, because not everybody stops today. People suck sometimes. Like, I've seen accidents where people just don't even stop, and they should. But yeah, I think the phone also depends on responsibility and if they can handle it. My favorite Starbucks drink is a caramel macchiato. It's venti caramel macchiato, hot with whipped cream, and 1 pump of the vanilla, and a little bit of caramel. I have to drive 25 minutes just to go to Target. I miss Kmart. Luckily, we have Target close by, which is good. How is Robbie? How is his treatment? So you'll just have to recap on the Robbie thing. I went through it in great detail, but he's doing really good. I had a phone when I was 12. 12 might be a good age for you, but not my kids. Are you going to have your kids pay for their own phones or add them to your plans? If my kids want to get a cell phone at any point, and I think that they're responsible enough, which probably won't be until at least 16 years of age, they would have to pay for their own cell phone. I'm not paying for 6 kids to have a cell phone. Could you imagine my phone bill? That's like $360 just for 6 kids' phones, at least. The rain of comments, but all I want to say doesn't fit in one comment. I'm proud of your tour improvement as a family and Robbie's personal healing process. Well, thank you, Mitzi. Thanks, Kirsten. But yeah, no, my kids are going to learn responsibility. I'm not going to pave their way in life. I actually appreciate, so my parents to me were failures. However, I appreciate the fact that my mother made me pay for my own vehicle. So my first vehicle I paid for, it was a $500 clunker of a car. So yeah, so I paid for that. And then I also paid for my own college. So when I realized that my career path was not the one that I wanted to take, I switched a lot faster because I was the one paying the bill. So I didn't want to waste thousands and thousands of dollars. So I was actually grateful that my parents taught me to pay for my own things. I paid for my own car insurance as soon as I started driving. I had a job very early on. I was a manager by the age of 16. So yeah, I'm grateful for those things, how I learned responsibility. Yeah, they're going to pay for their own college. They agree with me on that, actually. And for the same reasons that I appreciate why I paid for my own college. Because it taught me responsibility and it made me appreciate the value of $1. And I've heard so many of my friends tell me their horror stories, how their parents paid for their school. So they didn't take it serious. They didn't get good grades. They basically flunked their first so many semesters, so their parents spent like $20,000 they didn't need to spend. And I just hear all these stories. And 6 kids, me paying for college for 6 kids, could you imagine what that bill would be? There's no way I could even afford to do that. But the kids understand. It teaches them good responsibility, and I think it'll be good. No, Rick and I are actually very united on these topics. His family didn't pay for anything for him growing up. He paid for all of his own stuff too. We're definitely on the same page when it comes to parenting for the most part. He didn't recognize some red flags early on, but then he kind of sees it now and understands different things. But no, we're on the same page for parenting. I'm very practical. My son's sitting here watching me. And, so, I will invest in my children. That is one thing they know. So my son, he does karate. He is very, very, very well respected in the martial arts world. He does really well. He is a competitor and has won more first place trophies than any kid I know his age. He goes to every tournament that he can get his hands on. And obviously he doesn't have a job, so I foot the bill for those. Now, he knows that I do that, but he has so much respect for me because of me paying for his karate. And he's actually testing for a national team coming up over the holiday. And I'm freaking out inside. So, but this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity for him, but he's worked his ass off. And so if my kids work hard, I will always invest in them. I will always be there. And if they need help and support along the way, of course I'm going to help them and support them to get to their dreams. I'm never going to be the reason that my kids don't reach their maximum potential or achieve their dreams. I will always be their biggest fan and their biggest cheerleader. As long as they're giving it 100% and they're giving me respect and respecting my dollar that I'm spending, then I'll always continue to invest in my children. So that's really important too. Did you have more exposure than Rick to certain experiences that made red flags clearer to you than him? Probably. I was exposed to a lot more as a child. My childhood was a lot more traumatic than him for sure. And I've researched a lot more than him. Why did you go on Dr. Phil? Was it someone else that applied for you? I apologize if it's rude or you already answered it. We went on Dr. Phil because if we didn't go on Dr. Phil, we were out of options and they were going to release Robbie and he would be living independently in society. And he was not ready for that commitment because he knew he would offend. And he knew he was a danger to society. We knew he was a danger to society. And we knew we needed help. We had reached out to so many programs and tried to get him into treatment and he was rejected by all of them. There was no fast track of getting him help or getting him into treatment. He was awaiting sentencing for the crimes that he committed previous to going into treatment that we were unaware of, but they couldn't fast track that either. So there was going to be a gap of time where he would be living independently. And that was just dangerous all around. So I wrote the show and said, my son needs help and I am willing to do whatever it takes to get him help. And so that's what I did. I went on the show and they got him into a treatment program, which bridged the gap from the time that he was kicked out of treatment until the time he was able to go to sentencing. And so I didn't care. I didn't care if I got death threats or hate mail or any of it. I didn't care because if my son had a chance of getting treatment and getting better, I was willing to do whatever I had to do. And that's what I did. I was a mom fighting for my child. And that's why. Hey, Cameron. Was the research before merging your lives, or was this prior knowledge? It was both. I don't cringe watching him on the mat, actually. I used to get really upset whenever he'd take a hard hit, but I had a pivotal moment where we went to a national competition, right? This was a national, huge tournament. It was an eye-opener. We realized that these kids that went to these tournaments did not come to play. They came to take your effing head off. So my son was out doing sparring. Meanwhile, I had no idea. He had a shattered pinky, okay? I didn't know it was shattered at the time. I taped it together for him. He went out, did 4 sparring divisions with a shattered pinky. This kid is a rock star. He's my whole world. So, yeah, so much respect to him for doing that. But anyway, this kid who was like 1.5 feet taller, because my son hadn't reached puberty yet, kicked my son as hard as he could in the chest. Now my son has asthma and he was little. My son learned real quick, you don't leave the floor with your feet or you get taken down. So he got kicked real hard. Took him down. He hit his head so hard. Paramedics had to stop the sparring match, and they were looking at my son, testing him for concussion, seeing if he was even able to continue competing.